Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Bergio, Mark Novak, episode 273, where Tinder meets Seek job interview process, how the changing, the evolution, how we're doing it. Mr. Novak, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Long weekend. Hey.
Long weekend. We're back. What's happening?
Been thinking about your career. You know what? We've talked about getting into property last week, and we want to talk about getting into property, getting into the world of real estate as a career.
Yes.
Now is the perfect time. If you're looking at people are doing sea changes and tree changes with their property, but they're also doing it with their work. And if you're going to position yourself in 2021 in a new job, around about now is when you should start talking to real estate agents if you're looking to get into real estate, because people are making plans for the new year.
100%. And I reckon there's a lot of people coming out of the workforce, either had to go back home or just who were either students, short-term workers who may only be here for a couple of years. There's just a lot of people who may be at the early stages of a different career that you're in, that there are jobs now going to be opened up. So it's actually not a bad time to be going in at those levels in a different sort of career path.
So look us up. Now we do something a bit differently.
Yes. Tinder, what's I think just the word Tinder would have got everyone's ears prick up. So how do we do it a little bit different, Mark? What's sort of the ethos, the structure, if someone drops off a resume, calls up?
You know what? It's an awkward process overall. So I think to go in for a job interview is quite nerve-wracking for an employee, and probably not as nerve-wracking for an employer, because they're in their comfort zone. The employer is actually in their office amongst their colleagues and peers, amongst their industry. They're fairly comfortable, but the employee, a bit on the edge. You've never been in there before. You're getting into a new industry, most probably. It's a nerve-wracking process and a bit stressful. So what do we do?
So it's basically like speed dating. You would have an open night at, say, 6 o'clock. Everybody meets at the office. There's 2 or 3 people who are in senior roles from the office, including yourself, Lisa, Branka, who will be there and having 15-minute conversations with each individual person, sort of like speed dating.
If 3 minutes to 15 minutes, it's a real quick process. It doesn't mean we like you. Whether you're in a long interview or a short interview, doesn't mean that you're in or out. It's just a really nice, innocent process to get to know people, which is, not dragging it out, meet and greet, less stressful for the applicant, ask key questions that you need to as an applicant. It's proven for us to be an absolute game changer.
Yeah, and I think the employee likes it. It's a lot less stressful. Like when you think of how it's normally done, come in for an hour meeting, have your resume there, you feel like you're going to get interrogated. I think a lot of people would not actually want to go through that process, because especially if you just have the urge that you want to get into real estate, but you don't know anything about real estate, and that employer is the first cab off the rank, you could say, in the structure. So doing it this way, I reckon you just reduce the stress levels of the employee, because it's a bit more relaxed, and therefore you get more out of them, because a lot of people don't act on their best, or that can convey the information to someone when they're stressed. So it's a much better environment. We've got Kim on Heart, Tinder meets Seek. I'm guessing you have not been on Tinder. Maybe. What if someone who's interested in real estate?
Are you on Tinder, Michael?
Not recently. I've been on it back and forth. I don't like to talk, though. I'd rather do it face to face. What if someone who's interested in real estate industry but doesn't have any experience? Great question, Mark.
You know what? I reckon it's the better way. I reckon sometimes if you've been in the industry, I would always prefer not experienced and experienced.
Yep.
And I would always prefer a person that wants a career over a job. They're two completely different animals, and the way people are in with real estate, I guess the more you submit, the more you immerse yourself in the industry, the higher you get paid.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where it's I think that it's a direct reflection of whatever you commit, you'll get back proportionally, 100%. So to answer the question, no experience, no worries.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, people don't want people with experience. I get on a technical level, there's big advantages, maybe more in property management. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Mark. In property management, because there are some databases that you're using and programs like REST. But a lot of the time, especially in real estate, when someone moves or someone is in transit, normally, I don't know, there's something wrong with them, or they're not, a lot of the time they're not leaving. I don't know, they've had a clash there. They may have I find a lot of people get fired in real estate and no other agents. The other company never calls the other company for referrals. I reckon it's one of the only industries where I think it's because a lot of people like to poach each other's staff. So the referrals of a worker have just sort of died within the industry. And a lot of the time when someone's coming along with experience, there's a reason they've left, and you don't know that in the interview. So when you get someone with no experience, yes, they don't have the technical software, but they can pick that up really easily. But more importantly, you can train them, program them to how your company wants things done and your ethos, and you can mold them. So I think a lot of employers these days and companies are actually looking for people without the experience, because they've had that for so long, where they get a staff member, they go, oh, they've got experience, they're going to be great, they've been doing it for 8 years. And then 3 months later, they're just like, shit, they're gone, sort of thing.
Well, look, normally the reasons why they left their previous with real estate is the reason why it hasn't sort of worked. And I know definitely in our offices, the most brilliant people in our teams, so we're a team of 40, 50 staff, and the most brilliant people in our teams did start with zero experience. That's common, much more common.
Yep. And the reality is, whatever's on that piece of paper, it's sort of not worth what it's printed on, especially in the real estate business, because you can have all the degrees in the world, you can have all the certificates, but if you can't talk to people, communicate, build rapport, or follow instructions, it doesn't mean shit. So I think what I love about the speed dating process with the interviews, you get to see if they're quick on their feet, they're relaxed, and you're meeting multiple people as well. So, and you can I think a lot of people have been in the business for a long time. They can pick up within minutes if someone's got it to go forward to that next step. The basics of rapport building, the basics in communication, like you should know that within a few minutes. And if they don't, there's no real point. But the benefit, which we've touched on shows before, Mark, when you get a larger company like us, there are roles that aren't typically normal roles in a smaller independent office. Like a lot of the time you would have your property manager doing applications, marketing, showing the property and the rental collection, doing about 8 different roles. But on a larger scale, you may have different people doing those roles on a much higher volume. So if there is someone who may just be great, but they lack that communication part of it, or rapport building face to face, but they may be really good, I don't know, behind a computer, sometimes you can then make the role for them in that larger company. Because if someone had what do they call it, a helicopter view, the 30,000 foot view of our office, you would look at it going, shit, I've never heard of those roles. like the media agency. Like there's roles we have which no other company has because they're not the size, they're not the structure. So typically that's a benefit for someone who wants to get into property but may not be in the traditional sense. Is that coming across right, Mark? Would you agree?
Yep. Yeah, and also if you don't have to be as holistic with your experience. So if you're getting a job in real estate, if you are in a larger office, you can actually take on less tasks. So normally in a smaller office, you have to be an expert on 50 tasks. On a larger office, you're going to be an expert in 5 tasks, which is easier to learn those 5 tasks. Do you know what I mean? So
It is.
That's much easier to do. But that speed interviewing that we're talking about. So for anyone who's just come in today, we're talking about speed dating that we do. It's really good for the employee because we're talking about our opinion of the employee, but the opinion of the employee of us is equally as important. And sometimes they're like,
yes,
yeah, man. And sometimes they're like, get me out of here. I don't want to this doesn't feel right. And I don't like.
Did you hear the applause?
Oh, it's loud.
Yeah, I was very happy with.
It sounds like a screeching dog.
Oh no, but you're 100% right. Here we are coming from the employer, and we've got a couple people here who are saying they're looking to obviously get into real estate. But you're 100% right. It's not just from our point of view. The employee needs to be happy, needs to see if their culture, and obviously you may not be able to know the culture, but you can definitely, just like an employee can get the employer's view very quickly, you can get the bosses and then the staff under. So that's a very good point.
Speed dating is a way of the future for job interviews for sure. It's like a snap interview. That's what people want. It works well. I think it's great. We do it. We're going to be doing it shortly with putting on new recruits for 2021 in rentals, in sales, in different parts of the business. So guys, keep an eye out for it. Super successful way to do it. Real estate is a bloody good career, man. Isn't it, Burge? Like you can, it's good. There's all different aspects of it. So what, if someone was going for a job interview, what jobs would they typically start off in real estate? Where would you start?
Leasing. Residential leasing is a really good foot in the door. So depending which way you want to go. Well, I think you need to be honest with yourself. Are you chaotic? You're either chaotic or organized. If you're chaotic and you want to go into sales, I reckon leasing's a great starting point, because if you can't lease a rental property, you can't sell a property. So great. It gives you that gives you that entry level into getting the kill, you could say. However you want to call it. Reception's a great one. I started at reception. So reception's just getting your foot in the door and go from there. So leasing, reception, and you may get fortunate for a junior assistant role to a sales agent. Probably not as likely because they want at least some basic training, but they're probably your 3. Reception, leasing.
Even the assistant role to a salesperson, though, I don't think it's as holistic or as broad as reception. Reception is really a point where you can go anywhere in the business depending on your character. I think you may get a little bit hemmed in if you're a sales assistant. I think your odds of success are going to be tighter, going to be lower. Assistant to Lisa Novak says Lisa Novak.
Lisa, you just need to change when you go out of the video, click the bottom right and change your commenting from Novak to you personally.
Yeah, Lisa.
Lisa. That way people get to see you and then click on your profile. So it's when you go out of the video, you just got to be the bottom right corner above the share button. When you come out of the video, you can change. You'll have there'll be the Novak symbol. Click on that, and it'll let you choose to the Lisa
guys
page.
If you do want to comment on our videos today, on our live videos in future, always make sure you're logged into the Novak Properties one to make comments on, because our private profiles won't allow commenting.
And some new faces. Kim, Miss Gerard, good to have you on. Any questions, just jump on. But I think that's a wrap. So, yeah, we're a little late this morning.
Minutes.
Apologise. We'll be back.
That's 15 minutes. And speed dating, guys, the way to go. Get 2021. If you're looking for a new role, now is the time to be looking around. And happy end of. How'd you go on the weekend, Bert? Did you get drunk?
Got drunk, and then stayed in on Sunday. It was good. What about you? You get drunk? Just lots of speed dating.
It was a great weekend, actually. I think everyone was. I think Netflix would have been hammered from a lot of households this weekend.
Yeah, well, Trump got COVID, so I was watching a lot of that. Donald Trump.
Trump got COVID and left the hospital and got busted.
He's a good man. He'll be good. When will you be? Kim's asked the question, when will you be interviewing? Mark, have we announced that for the Speed Dating 2021?
Keep an eye out next 2 weeks. We'll have it. I think it's a Tuesday or Wednesday night. It'll be at 6:00. Yep. And exciting.
Priscilla, I'd love to work with you guys at Nova. Can I send you my CV? Of course. Love to have you in. They will go to, are they going to Brunker or Mark?
CV, yeah, send them to me. Email them over to me. mnovak@novak.com.au.
Novak. I'll pop the comments in there, guys. Alrighty. I think that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Alrighty. Thank you,
everyone. Short
Cheers.
week.
Bye.
See ya.